Okay, lesson 1-1 is just variables and expressions. It goes back to a lot of the basics. Officially, variables and expressions, you would have even heard these words before you got to Algebra 1, but definitely in Algebra 1 now. So variable, a symbol. Usually when we think of variables, we think of letters, right? Those are ABCs. So a symbol, usually a letter that represents a value. And so when we talk about variables, that's something like X or Y or A, B, C. Those are variables, okay? So be familiar with that word variable, because when I say variable in math, think letters, okay? Think letters. Find a writing utensil? Okay. Algebraic expression. An expression is just a phrase, okay? So algebraic expression, mathematical phrase including one or more variables. So it's some type of math sentence that's going to have a variable in it. For instance, 4 plus n is an expression. That's an algebraic expression. Okay, I could say along the same lines, 3m, as in 3 times m. What? Okay. Okay, so algebraic expression, it's going to have a letter in it. It's going to have a variable in it. Whereas a numerical expression, guess what? No letters, only uses numbers. It's going to be numbers and then some type of operation symbols, no variables. 4 plus what? Yep, 4 plus 4. Okay. 72 divided by 3. We could go, we could write a lot of these. Okay. But that's, say, some numerical expressions. I can't remember exactly all the pieces in homework, but one of the pieces in homework is being able to write an algebraic expression for the word phrase. So being able to take this in words and put it in numbers, symbols, letters. So look at this first example. 18 more than a number n. What is that if I'm writing it with math? 18 more than a number n. 18 what? N. Not quite 18n. 18 plus n. And that's the key. What does more than mean? And that's going to be plus. So we're doing 18 plus a number n. So one way to write it would be 18 plus n. Can we switch that? Because it's adding, just go back and think. 2 plus 3. Is that the same as 3 plus 2?
Yep.
Yeah. So another way to write this would be n plus 18. I will accept either or, and Math Excel would accept either or. Okay? Okay. Next one. 6 times the number n. What'd you say? 6 times n, yes. How do you guys want to write that times?
6 times.
Okay. So one correct option to show multiplication is to do a dot. What? Or the X symbol. That one, unfortunately, right. So the one that I'm going to say no to, and I'm going to put it over here at the end. And here's the thing. Math Excel would say, if you try and say 6 times n with a multiplication x, we've hit that point in our lives because we use variables. You're not allowed to do that one. Okay? We can do the multiplication dot.
Or right, you can do the times 6.
6n, is that multiplication?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's actually probably my preferred answer, but I would take 6 dot in. You could do in dot 6, you could flip them, yes. Okay, and there's one other way to show multiplication, and I don't know that I'd use it in this situation, but parentheses. You could put 6 or in parentheses.
But can you do 6 parentheses?
Yes, you could. Yep. So my preference here would be 6 in, but I'd take any of them. I don't know, can you do a multiplication dot on Math Excel?
It's been very peaky, so
Well, Math Excel is being difficult lately, I'm hearing. So
yeah.
those of you that have not been back in Math Excel yet this semester,
Have fun.
there's been some updates and it's being more difficult. So that's what we're finding out. Okay. Next one. The quotient of 18 and a number n.
So it'd be 18. No,
18 divided.
Well, and here's the deal. What does quotient mean?
Divide.
Quotient is divide. Okay, so quotient is the answer to a division problem. So when we talk about the quotient of 18 and n, trying to think what different things you guys said.
18. 18.
What did you guys say, or did you?
I said something. 18.
Well, if you tell me 18n, that's multiplication.
Wait, oh, he said 18 divided by n.
Or you put 18 over.
Okay, so 18 divided by n with the good old standby division with 2 dot symbol. Okay, that works.
What about 18 divided by 18?
No.
Okay, just a second, I'll talk about that one.
You don't-
I also heard 18 over n, and kind of like earlier, the 6 in is ideal. This is probably your better option here when you do division to show it as a fraction bar. Now, David, did you ask about n divided by 18?
You
Yeah.
can't do that because you don't know what it is.
Okay, and here's the deal. With addition, we can flip it. With multiplication, we can flip it. With division, I can't flip it.
Okay.
Okay, so division, because it says the quotient of 18 and a number, we have to have 18 first. Okay, I'm trying to think. Oh, I know one I'll occasionally see. I don't really like this one either. I'm showing this is not a good option. 18 divided by n like that.
So
I don't.
Okay, well, over the years I've seen people say that one. That's more of that's how we do our long division, but that's not a good way to express it. So I would probably say this one as a best answer, but I would take the other one also. Okay. Next one. 8 less than the product of a number x and 4.
So
8 minus.
wait, 8 less than so 8. No, we can do x minus 8 over 4.
Okay, well, let's break it down to pieces. I'm hearing lots of different options here. So I see 8, right? What's less than going to mean? That means we're going to subtract. And then it says the product of a number x and 4. What's product mean? No. What's product? We got to know that word for math. What's product? What? Multiplication? Did that get said? Product being multiplication. So how do I show the product of x and 4?
Time.
It's times, so I'm going to say 4 times x. How did I do that earlier?
4.
I did 6 in earlier, so 4x.
Minus 8.
One thing.
Now, and here's the question, guys. Okay, so 8, there's going to be an 8. Less than, there's going to be a subtraction. And that's the product of 4 and x, so there's going to be a 4x. Now, the question, is it 4x minus 8? Or 8 minus 4x?
8 minus 4x.
Why?
That's the question. I know.
Without just guessing, right? That's the tough part. So if it's 8 less than something, let me ask you this. What if it said 8 less than 50? What would you do to find 8 less than 50? You'd subtract which way, then?
50, you do 50 minus 8.
You'd do 50 minus 8, right?
Yeah.
So since this says 8 less than 4x, we're going to do 4x minus 8.
Okay.
When you see the words less than used in a subtraction situation, you want to reverse them. Okay, you want to reverse it and do 4x minus 8. Okay. Next one. Twice the sum of a number x and 8. So notice how I'm trying to break it into pieces.
Twice.
What's twice going to mean? Multiplication by
2.
2, right? It's about poked my eye. Okay, so we're going to have to do 2 times something. Then it says the sum. What's sum mean?
Equal.
Not equal. Sum is it equals what type of problem? The two numbers are what? Added. Okay, so this is going to be twice the sum. So we're twice some type of addition. What are we adding? X and 8.
So it'd be 8.
So we're going to do 2 times, and then the sum of x and 8. So how do I show the sum of x and 8? We've got the sum of x and 8 is x plus 8.
2 times x plus
And how do I show 2 times that?
Then you just put
2
the 2.
dot x plus 8.
You just put the 2.
You can't do, okay, so what Ryland's trying to say, and unfortunately I can't quite do that. If we do 2 times x plus 8, this is saying 2 times x and then add 8. We need it to be 2 times and then add the x and 8. So I'm actually going to use parentheses there.
So do there.
There are certain times you have to use parentheses, and unfortunately this is one of them. Okay? Okay. Last one in this section. The quotient of 5. The quotient of 5 and the sum of 12 and a number x.
Okay, so you do 5.
Hold on.
Divide. Whatever.
Piece by piece. What's quotient?
Divide.
So I know I'm going to have a divide. Notice it's the quotient of, what's the first part? 5. And what's the other part? The sum of 12 and a number x. How do I show, work on just this part, the sum of 12 and x? What's sum again? Addition.
You're going to do x plus 12.
Okay, so David said x plus 12. I wrote 12 plus x. We could go either way here. We could flip-flop that because it's addition. Now, what was my favorite way of showing division? Or the best way, I should say. I shouldn't say favorite. The best way is to show it with a,
Divide.
right here,
Like a fraction.
a fraction. So if I show this with a fraction, the quotient of what comes first that goes on top? The 5.
5.
And what's the other part that goes on bottom?
Plus,
12 plus x, or x plus 12. That would be my recommendation there. If you were going to say 5 divided by 12 plus x, if you were thinking, oh, I would have written it like this, you could, but you'd have to put parentheses there. So that's where this one looks better, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at the bottom page part of your notes. Write a word phrase to represent the algebraic expression. I can't read this out loud because if I do, I'm going to give you clues. So this x and this 8.1, what are ways that I could put this in words?
You see,
the sum of x and 8.1.
you can do
So will Ryland's work on that one? The sum, how'd you say it?
The sum of x
The sum of x and 8.1. Now, is that the only option?
No.
No. David, what were you going to say?
I'm going to do 8.1 plus a.
8.1, did you say plus x?
Yeah. Maybe go back to parentheses.
Yeah, you could. You don't have to have parentheses.
where
Jacob, what were you going to say?
x more than 8.1.
Okay. X more than 8.1. These are all good options. Okay? And these aren't the only ones. Okay? Math Excel, well, I think they make these multiple choice. So when it comes to Math Excel, you just have to pick which one works, which one is correct. Okay, let's look at the next one that has the 10 and the 9 in it and the x in it that I'm not going to say out loud. Now, can I pick on some other people this time?
I got it.
Yeah, you gave me one last time.
I know.
I got some people being quiet. I got my talkers. See, that's what I'm learning today is who's going to talk and who's...
I'm going to talk all the time. So.
Okay, well... Or maybe I should let the volunteers do this one. The next one I'll make.
Okay.
I'll pick on some people maybe.
So.
Okay, David, and then I'll get Ryland. So, what would you say for this one?
X plus. Maybe not x plus 10, but
It doesn't say x plus 10.
you can do 10x plus 9.
But what's happening with 10 and x?
Multiplication.
Yeah, you have to indicate. If you just say 10x plus 9, I'll give you half credit. But you have to know what's going on with 10 and x.
You have to put in parentheses, don't you?
Not when we're writing it out. When 10 and x are shoved together like that, remember that is multiplication.
Okay.
So if that's the case, we could say 10 times x plus 9. Something like that would earn full credit.
Oh,
Just don't say 10x plus 9. What was yours, Ryland?
10 times x and sum.
Okay. And I think if I was going to do that one, I'd say the sum of 10 times x and 9. I'd put the sum out front. But yeah, the sum is a good word there. So the sum of 10 times x and 9. Jacob?
Product of 10 and x more than 9.
Okay. The product of 10 and x more than 9. Okay, and we can keep going on. So I'm going to cut it off here. Okay, but these are all good options. I'm realizing I'm running into my next one there, but
Okay, so this next one.
okay. Hold on. This next one with N and 3. That's one we're going to look at. Think about what that bar means. Robbie, you got a guess for me? No? Remember, and one thing I will say, dang it, what did I hit? If we go back to the bar, like this is a good way to look. As you look back up at your notes, remember the bar, what it meant. Okay, we use the bar down here, and what it meant.
So it's gonna be
What's that bar mean? Hold on. Chloe, you got a guess?
The quotient of n and 3.
Okay, there's a good one. She said the quotient of n and 3. There's one more I was wanting to hear here, maybe.
It's
Already have.
What?
That's the one I wrote.
Okay.
Quotient.
Kaylin, you got a thought for this one? No. And think about what that bar means. Lily, you got a thought?
the quotient.
The quotient of 3 and a number n.
We can't reverse it
I
though.
thought I did this.
Yeah. If you want to say the quotient of a number n and 3,
That's
you can do that. Okay. If we want to say the quotient of a number n and 3.
I was looking at
Okay. What's another word for quotient, guys? What is a quotient? It's doing what?
Division.
It's dividing, right? Some of you guys probably don't like this fancy word quotient. Could I do something as easy as n divided by 3? Yeah. We can do something as easy as n divided by 3. You don't have to go fancy. Okay? You don't have to get all fancy. Quotient's good. I like it. But divided by is just as good too. Okay, one more. The 5, the x, that symbol, and that 1.
Okay, so it's
Okay, hold on. I want to ask Jason here. Jason? You got any thoughts of how you would read this one? Can you give me a try here? You don't know? Get all my volunteers back. See, we're going to have to work on this. I can't have the same volunteers and the same people wanting to sit quietly. Just saying. We're going to have to work on participation. Keep in mind, guys, this isn't your same old big class, right?
nope. It's a smaller
This is a smaller class, and we're all in here for the same reason. Trying to get our
credit.
Algebra 1 credit. You got a thought, Chloe?
1 less than the product of a number x and 5.
Ooh, I like it. Now, can I remember all of that? Okay, let's see. She said 1 less than the product of, did you say a number x and 5?
Yeah.
A number x and 5. I like it. Do you have to get that fancy with it?
No.
No.
You
What if I just read this left to right? What are 5 and x doing? 5 times x. What's this sign? Well, you could say 1 less than that, but I'm just going to say, what, could I just say minus? Minus 1. You don't have to get fancy. Okay, time has escaped me today. Everyone, take a moment. Class is not over yet. We need to get you guys all logged into Math Excel.